It was a Cowboys homecoming in Week 7 of the NFL season as over 30 Cowboys alumni were welcomed to AT&T Stadium for a night of celebration as they take on the Washington Commanders, and the Cowboys succeeded on the field, getting back on track with a 44-22 win over a former defensive coordinator in Dan Quinn, now the head coach in Washington. It started early for the Cowboys. They went up 20-8 midway through the second quarter and then exploded in the third with a fumble recovery by Jadeveon Clowney, a touchdown from Dak Prescott to Jake Ferguson, and then another pick six from Daron Bland, the 6th of his career and his first since a record-breaking 2023 season. Coach Schottenheimer very happy with the performance of his team. They said they had the right plan.
I liked the plan on both sides of the ball. I thought we executed the plan on both sides of the ball. It was great to see guys step up and make plays. I mean, Triquez did a really, really good job for us. You know, again, just a couple guys got banged up and they came back. I mean, that just shows you the toughness of that group, man. K9 and Kenny Clark, and it was great to see Easy get his first sack, and Jadeveon. That was really cool. So just really proud of the group. But it's one game, and it's just a championship opportunity that we seized, and we got another one coming up next week.
The Cowboys get back to 500 with a 3-3-1 record, tallying over 400 yards of total offense. They down a Commanders team that's a little banged up at the moment. They are now 3-4 after their second straight loss. Dallas finishes with a 100-yard rusher, a 100-yard receiver, and 2 takeaways on defense as they win the turnover battle and put together their most complete game on the defensive side. But as for Dak Prescott, he continues his incredible start to the season. 4th straight game with at least 3 passing touchdowns and no interceptions. That's the second longest streak going back to the 1970 merger. He had 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, and over a 130 passer rating. He loved the explosiveness on the offensive side of the football. Here's what he said after the game.
Yeah, it was great. It was explosive. It was fun. I mean, you saw the big plays. Saw some drives we put together. Yeah, our standard and expectations for ourselves is very high, and so we understand when we've got guys, the playmakers that we have, the offensive line, the love that we have for one another, and you see it in just the way that guys finish plays, guys cover the ball, and defense played very well tonight. When you do that, I think more of our games are going to look like this.
Dak Prescott has continuously made the guys around him better, but it also helps when the guys around him can make him better as CeeDee Lamb returns from injury in a big way. He finished with 5 receptions, 110 receiving yards, and of course that 74-yard touchdown that really opened the game up on the offensive side of the football. It was his first action since the opening drive against the Bears in Week 3, so his ability to come back in the fold, especially when George Pickens was still playing a massive role on the offensive side of the ball. It was a big win for CeeDee Lamb and company, but the Cowboys also got the run game going in their right as well. Javonte Williams carried the run game to another 100-yard outing. He's also tied with Herschel Walker for the most touchdowns, 7 in the first 7 games with the Dallas Cowboys organization. Walker did it back in 1986, and Javonte Williams did it here in 2025. 7 touchdowns, 6 on the ground as he continues an incredible start to his Dallas Cowboys career. On the other side of the football, the defense stepped up in a big way. I mentioned how it was one of the best defensive opportunities that we've seen throughout the 2025 season. Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator, deployed man coverage on 48% of snaps. That's up from just 14% in the Week 6 loss against the Carolina Panthers. So they made the necessary adjustments, and they really challenged Jayden Daniels and a banged-up Washington Commanders offense to the point where they had 2 takeaways, and they converted on touchdowns on each one of those takeaways. When this defense can give extra opportunities to the Cowboys offense, then it's going to lead to points and lead to Cowboys wins. However, Daron Bland said, I didn't even need to get the ball back to the offense. I'm going to go take it and score myself. His 6th touchdown overall. He felt really good about how the defense played and how comfortable they were on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I feel like he's done a great job, trying to get everybody on the same page, and talking to the players and seeing what we like to do and seeing like what we see. So I think he's doing a great job with that.
When the feedback you guys give to him is actually used by him and executed in terms of the game plan, in terms of running more man, what does that do for players when your feedback is heard, you execute?
It just brings another confidence. You got a coach that he's confident in and that you can see what you see, and then you give the confidence to go out there and play for him.
And you could see that confidence growing as the game went on. Daron Bland, even prior to the pick six, was tremendous on the defensive side of the football. He was great in tackling. He helped in run coverage and even was there on a couple of pressures in the backfield as well. All capped off by his 6th interception return for a touchdown. Of course, he is one of just 32 players in NFL history to have at least 6 interceptions returned for a touchdown in his career. And he's still very, very young and playing on his second contract, which he signed this past offseason. The Cowboys now turn their attention to Week 8 of the NFL season, taking on the Denver Broncos, a team they have not defeated on the road since 1992. It's been a long time since the Cowboys have won a game, period, against the Broncos, dating back to 1995. And Denver coming off quite the game themselves. How about a big-time comeback against fellow NFC East rival, the New York Giants? The Denver Broncos scored 33 points, all 33 points in their outing in the fourth quarter alone to take down Jackson Dart and the New York Giants. The Broncos are at 5-2, and they currently lead the AFC West division. Bo Nix, J.K. Dobbins, Cortland Sutton lead the way on the offensive side of the ball, and they tout one of the best defensive units in the National Football League throughout the first 7 weeks of the season, despite giving up the 32 points that they had on the board last week. This will be a massive challenge for the Cowboys, maybe their toughest challenge to this point in the campaign as they take on Denver. 3:25 kickoff on CBS this week. My key for the Cowboys to get a win this week is you got to win the turnover battle. You've done so over the last 2 weeks. You lost against Carolina, winning the turnover battle by 1, but you could see just how much that played an impact in the win against the Washington Commanders last week. So the key to defeating Denver, you got to win the turnover battle, and you got to take away possessions from Bo Nix and that Broncos offense. We have plenty of opportunities for you to catch up on your Cowboys content throughout the week. Of course, you can download the Cowboys Now app, where there are shows, podcasts, and documentaries. A whole lot more for you to check out on the Cowboys Now app. And here's the podcast schedule this week as well. Things get started Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., and they roll on throughout the day. 8 different shows rotating through the Cowboys SWBC podcast studio here at the Star in Frisco. Be sure to check out each one of those and find your favorite, because there are a lot of different personalities showcased on those podcasts. And then finally, Cowboys Pregame Live gets started right here from the Star in Frisco in the Globe Live studios. 2 p.m. start time. Myself, alongside Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, and Nate Newton, will lead you up to kickoff between the Cowboys and the Broncos. 3:25 kickoff on CBS, and we'll lead you up to kickoff on Cowboys Pregame Live. That does it for us here on Cowboys Update. I'm your host, Kyle Youmans. We'll see you next week as the Cowboys continue their 2025 campaign.